How would you answer the question of why God intercedes in some people's lives and performs miracles for them, but why it feels like he's not doing it for others?
Well, the answer to that is not something we like to hear, but it's all about faith. See, our faith is not just that God is going to do what we ask for, it's bigger than that. It's trusting Him that He will keep His word, not only in what He says He will do, but in taking care of us in general. Do we trust Him as much when He says no as when He says yes? Do we trust Him as much when He's silent as when He's speaking? That's the question we have to ask ourselves.
Because while I do believe that God works miracles because I've experienced them on my own and I've heard so many testimonies of those who have as well, there's a lot of people out there who feel like He's been absent from their life or that He hasn't saved them from situations where they needed saving.
Oh, sure, David was one of those. When he was on the run from Saul and then his son Absalom, we know from his writings that he felt kind of abandoned from God too. But ultimately, he understood that God does take care of him, and though he may not enjoy the moment, ultimately, we have to keep our eyes on the prize. We need to keep our mind heavenly minded. See, the point of this life is not to enjoy it to the best. The point of this life is simply to get to the next and bring as many people with us as we can. So remember that no matter how bad your life might be here, you still get to have eternity with Him, where there's no more sorrow or sickness or pain or death or sadness or anything like that. That in and of itself is worth all of this. Or as Paul says, the trials of this present time are not fit to be compared to the glory that is yet to be revealed. What is to come will completely diminish everything we've gone through.
And though I know we're not supposed to lean on our own understanding, and though I know God works in mysterious ways and for the greater good of all mankind behind the scenes, and He can see things that we can't, I still struggle with this question, and I also struggle with answering this question.
And I understand why. The problem is we use these as platitudes instead of as faith builders. A lot of people just say them to get you to kind of acquiesce and say okay, instead of them actually caring about you. And, shame on us Christians if we ever do that. We should genuinely care about you and pray for you and remind you of these great things. But the most important thing to ask you is, do you trust Him? That's what faith is all about.
And I understand we live in a broken world, and I understand quite a few of these things, but I still have trouble putting it into words that clearly state why God will work miracles, or at least appear to work miracles in some people's lives, but why it looks like He doesn't in other people's lives. And I'm just curious what your take is on that.
I completely understand. Now keep in mind what we call the parable of the prodigal son is actually a parable of two sons, and people always forget the second. Our temptation is to act like the second. We'll complain to God, hey, I've been faithful. Hey, I've been trusting you. Why aren't I getting what I asked for? And God is literally saying, you're going to get everything. I'm focused on this guy that's lost. What are you complaining about? One day you literally get everything. So if we truly believe He's a good God, we can trust Him when He's quiet, and we can trust Him when He says no.